Hello. So I am today, quiet Finnegan, I'm talking to the video, not to people walking in. I am today plying some of my art yarn that I just finished spinning the other day. And I wanted to talk a little bit about how you hold your hands and what plying is, because a lot of people think that plying is really, really easy and not hard at all. And I'm going to get set up on the computer here, so if anybody has any questions, they can ask me, and I can actually read, because believe it or not, I'm not that good at reading on my phone. Let's see here. I can do this. Okay, so now I should be able to see possibly both. So when I first start plying, the first thing I try to remember is to set my tension. I personally choose to set my tension just slightly higher than I do when I spin, so that I have a little bit more draw in. This, when you ply, you want to ply at approximately 1.5 times what you spun at. And there's some people get really OCD about it. I don't. I happen to be spinning an art yarn. It doesn't have to be very even if you are going to be doing a majorly even project that you do. The next thing to remember is to treadle slowly. It's not a race. By this point in time, we all want to be done with our yarn, and that's just not the way it's going to be. It takes time. And the second is to decide on your hand position however you want your yarn. I want this to be a little boucle, so I'm holding my hands. You can see I'm holding it in an L shape. And that will allow me to actually control the yarn. Now right there I have a break because I spun it kind of soft. So I'm just going to overlap this. And I hold on to it for a second to get the twist built in, and then I can just go ahead and let it go. So I'm holding my, it's forming an L or a right angle to my original plied yarn, or my original yarn, which that will make it do a little bit more twist. You're putting more of the plying material in than the actual yarn, so it's wrapping it. And if I didn't want that, if I wanted just to have a little tiny bit, hint of sparkle, I could do that too. My yarn is tangling here. By holding it straight down like this, and that would give me an even amount. I personally, some people love to ply. Plying is their favorite thing. I am not one of those people. Plying is a necessary evil for me to get my yarn done. But there is definitely, you'll hear of people say, oh, I just let the yarn hang. It doesn't matter how it does it. You're not going to get a good finished product that way. You do need to put some time into it and be a little picky. Like right now I've got my thread is a little tangled. This is a brand new spool of thread. So I'm going to go ahead and stop for a second, snap it off, pull out my tangly parts, so that I get a better finished product, because it isn't, this is what sets your yarn apart, and this is really your second most important finishing aspect, is how you ply. I personally ply all my yarn. I do not like to not ply. When you do not ply, a single ply yarn has no, it does not have nearly the strength. If something snaps on that yarn, you lose your whole garment. If something snaps on a ply, you don't. Another thing to remember with plying yarn is that it evens out what you're doing. It takes a yarn that might be just a mediocre, this is a really muddy single. It's just, there's nothing that's really spectacular about it. But I think that the yarn, when it's finished, will be really pretty, because it adds just that extra pop. I play a lot of times with one of these threads, especially with my Angora, any of my art yarn. And you can see how I'm just literally not moving these fingers, and I'm keeping my treadle. I don't know if you can watch my knees, but my treadling is very, very consistent too, so everything stays the same, and I'm keeping my tension set the same. I have a tension set on my bobbin down below, and then I have tension set actually in my fingers too. It's really important, if you can, if you're applying for a competition yarn, or if you're really OCD, it's much harder to get a good ply if you get interrupted. I say that as I'm doing this in a yarn shop that's open for anybody to walk into. But that's okay, my yarn doesn't have to win any prizes. We're happy with it however it is. And I don't have a woolly winder on my Gigantor bobbin of happiness, so I'm going to move my thing. And whenever I move it, remember my tension's going to change slightly, so I need to either adjust my hands or adjust my tension to put up with that change. I don't know that you can see really. I'm going to try to show you like that, so you can see my hand. See, I've got my one finger, and I'm dragging my thread slightly, and then my other is up, and my hand is providing the tension that I need to do that. It's a really rainy, gray day here. I guess that the groundhog was right and we have more winter coming, which just seems wrong after the winter we've had, but I hear rumors of snow again. So I shall just spin all the yarn while we wait for spring. Last night we had our Twisted Spinsters, which you can come in on 6 to 8 on any Thursday night and spin or knit or crochet or needle felt or do anything or just hang out. And when I got in this morning, it looked like we had a rave. I'm not sure what happened last night except for the dog. So the dog was crazy and wild and destroyed the shop while we were working on finding a shawl pattern for Danielle to make a shawl. Not a shawl, a whatever it is, a vest. So that was awesome. And very exciting. And so I just keep sitting here and doing this, and I can kind of meditate, I can relax, but what I cannot do at this point in time is stop, set it down, and expect to have the same quality that I have by keeping my hands completely still, my tension exactly the same, and basically looking like I'm doing nothing, even though I'm doing something. Now, if I get to a spot in my yarn that's a little over twisted, my thumb here that's loose, that's what I use my thumb for. I can stop, I can pinch it, like that, and I can pull down, and I can stop how much that's going in, and let any overspun spots have a little bit less twist. To go through things. It's very weird watching this on the computer because it's all delayed. So then I just let it go and go and go. It's funny, I am very much a production person. I like to see the finished item, so for a long time I hated plying, and I would put it off until I had all my bobbins filled. And my goal now, I will let myself start one extra bobbin, but I will not do any more than that. Because I don't want to have all the bobbins. I'm really terrible. And then for a while I would wind off into center pull balls, and then I would ply from those, which saved my bobbins. But yet again, I still have center pull balls that have never been plied because of how much I hate plying. I've learned finally how to just kind of meditate and do it. And the sparkly stuff makes it a little easier and a little more fun, rather than plying back. I'm going to plan on doing a video next week on Navajo plying. I hope next week. Because Navajo plying is really a cool technique and a lot more fun, I think, than regular plying. So, in that one you kind of make crochet loops, and it's a whole technique to it. It also saves your color changes, which can be really nice if you're doing any type of gradient. Maybe I'll spin up a gradient. I haven't done that in a long time. I love gradients. Let's see what I've got here for gradients. I always have a hard time finding anybody to actually make me some gradients to spin. And I don't have the counter space for it. So I'll have to see what I have. You can see these light sections. This is a little Angora bat that I bought from somebody who's got Angora and silk noil, and it's really nice and soft and light. And then I've got this panda that again came from one of my dyers. With these art bats, I just keep grabbing all my stuff and I keep tossing it together and doing all these crazy combinations of all the different kinds of roving. It's really fun. It's gotten me to really dig through my stash and explore all the different things, and I've been doing tons of them. Though I need to get more locks and more things like that to go. So I just keep going and going and going. Here's my red, which I have no clue what that even was. It was some kind of felty roving that I had in my bottom of my bin. But I like red and purple together. Brings some brightness and some tone to it. I've got messages popping up. I'm going to close these. So see, I slowed down to allow myself to do that, and now my hands have to go exactly back to what they were doing. Which your hands get trained how to do it, the longer you ply. Just like your feet get trained to keep your speed consistent. And a lot of spinning is a lot of muscle memory and a lot of work on learning how to do things. And not just quick times. And you can see I don't count, but if I counted my feet, I would be going 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and keeping that rhythm up. And not speeding up or slowing down, because I want to keep it consistent. And just let it keep going. I have a funny story to tell. I had bought this flyer when I started carrying Modulcraft equipment. This was one of the first things I ordered. Was their overhead drive flyer, and I ordered 2 extra bobbins, and I ordered the Lazy Cape. And the bobbins came, but not the overhead drive, so I didn't get to play with it before my fall got really, really, really busy with our trip to San Diego. And So I didn't put it on for a long time. When I finally got it on the wheel and installed and started playing with it, I was like, oh my gosh, what in the world am I going to do for a lazy Kate? I didn't even think about that. Which is where you hold your bobbins when you ply. So I got this cool cardboard box and I stuck a knitting needle through it and I had it all set up. And the other day, I've been using that for like 3 weeks now. The other day I was like, wait a minute, I have a box in the office that says it has a lazy Kate in it. So I went and looked, and that was the overhead drive lazy Kate that I had ordered that I had promptly forgot about because I've been so busy just sitting there waiting to be assembled, so that I had to get the box away. Though I did have some people who wanted me to keep the box just because, you know, it was so awesome to see me plying in the shop from a cardboard box. I thought it was clever. I will tell you, if you order an overhead lazy Kate with me, they do come with a free cardboard box that you can make into, or if you order an overhead drive with me, they come with a free box you can make into a lazy Kate. I will give you directions and give you the size of knitting needle you need, which is a size 11, straight, at least 12 inches, longer is better. So you don't move your bobbin enough. Starts to have it slip down. If you really let yourself get into plying, it is very meditative. But like I say, you have to actually put your work into it, and you have to think about what you want, how you want your finished yarn to look, and not just kind of haphazardly do your plying, because it is a big, big part of how your yarn's going to be. And it's a whole other skill, just like spinning is a skill, plying is a skill. It's no different than multiplication and division in math. You can't do one without the other. Though I kind of managed to get through my life really well without doing division. But we really do need that. Same with this. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys have a great day.